Scorpion News is a public forum for student expression. Students make all content decisions and opinions do not necessarily represent those of the HUSD.
Good morning, Scorpions, and welcome back to another episode of Scorpion News. In observance of Black History Month, we have a show dedicated to exploring and celebrating the roles Black Americans have played in shaping American history. In hopes of building towards a more equitable and inclusive future, we know amplifying and centering Black voices is part of the work. With that being said, our first video highlights what Black History Month is and why it matters.
History Month is a commemoration, vocab word, for Black activists, another vocab word,
who took their time out to go fight for what they feel is right. Like
Martin Luther King.
Doesn't matter if you're Black, if you're white, you should always celebrate it because you know the struggles Black leaders went through in order for you to be here right now.
even though we may have the different skin color, we're still the same type of people, no matter what.
And a lot of people, they don't see me for who I am. They see my outside appearance, but they don't see what I have on the inside.
It's very hard to grow up knowing that you're Black and you have a lot of personal prejudice against you.
I see it on the TV and I'm like, is that gonna happen to my brother? Is that gonna happen to my dad? I always have that in the back of my mind every time that I'm home and they're not home.
Black history is important to me because I have to remember where I came from and I have to remember who came before me.
Because you have to look at the things that Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X did for us Black people, so people can't treat us unfairly because they think some type of belief.
Because we are all people, and we need to stand up for our rights.
Thank you for that informative video. We hope it helped you learn a little about history and how knowledge can help bring about understanding. With that said, we wanted to highlight a few TikTok creators who have been using their platform to share some history that you might have missed.
Hello, it's Black History Month. This means that we get to see all of the exciting and interesting stories about the history of Black History Month and why it makes up your history as well. Let's take a look.
It's officially Black History Month. Have you ever wondered why it's in February? It was started by this guy, Carter G. Woodson, who started Negro History Week in 1926. He chose the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, the famous abolitionist, and Abraham Lincoln, who abolished slavery. Woodson, aka the father of Black history, started Negro History Week because he saw the American education system was teaching very little about the accomplishments of African Americans. It wasn't until 1976, during the height of the Black Power movement, that Gerald Ford expanded the week into a month. Fun fact, Woodson's organization still sets the theme for Black History Month, and this year's theme is the Black family, identity, representation, and diversity.
Interesting, right? Here are some more exciting stories about the history of Black History Month that you probably didn't even know about.
That's Black history. I want to teach you all about the incomparable Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson was born to immigrant parents in New York, and as she got older, she got discovered by an ebony editor and had an influential career in modeling. Once Cicely started acting, she recognized the discrimination happening in Hollywood and how Black people were only given roles of maids, servants, and inferior roles. So, Cicely was determined to play roles that only portrayed Black women in a positive light, and because of that, she didn't receive consistent work. But the world couldn't stop her. After playing the role of Miss Jane Pittman and the lead in Sounder, no one could deny her power. Hey, shh! Cicely Tyson went on to play many roles that portrayed Black women in a positive light, and she carried this energy all throughout her work. Cicely Tyson's legacy set the tone for future innovators and is cemented forever. Rest in power, Miss Tyson. Black history, is your history.
In a world where ice cream scooping was a sticky situation, begins the story of a black man named Alfred Crowley, a hotel porter who realized the difficulty servers had scooping ice cream.
What in the Haagen-Dazs is he doing?
And called on his imagination to invent a tool that would change the ice cream game forever. The ice cream mold and disher, a scooper with a built-in scraper that could be used with one hand. Scoop, there it is, the Alfred Crowley story, coming soon to a theater near you.
Scoop, there it is. Scoop, there it is.
Thank you, Mark, for compiling this video, and for the TikTok creators, Taylor Cassidy and Infatuation, for using their platforms to share Black history in innovative ways. Now TikTok and Instagram users aren't only people using their platforms to help raise awareness. This past year, the Black Lives Matter movement inspired voices all across America, inspired the actions by athletes across America, similar who decided to highlight the impact of sports protests throughout history.
This past year, we've seen a strong push by Black athletes to push for activism and social justice. Following the police-involved killings of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, athletes began to use their platforms to voice their frustrations and issues about racial injustice. Sports protests aren't uncommon and have been going on throughout history. In 1947, Jackie Robinson broke barriers by becoming the first African American to join the major leagues. As a Dodgers, his play on the field and ability to overcome opened the doors for African Americans and other minorities on and off the field. After his career, he continued to fight for equal rights as a writer, organizer, speaker, businessman, and political supporter. In 1968, Tommy Smith and John Carlos used their Olympic podium to protest against racial injustice. And in 2016, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem to protest shootings of African American men. And this year, the NBA and WNBA have taken a role in pushing for change through by transforming their arenas to voting centers, launching social justice movements, and wearing Black Lives Matter and Say Her Name on their warm-up shirts. These are just several examples of a long history of athletes who have used their platform to raise awareness on issues that matter to them. This climate of athlete activism is more welcome than ever before, and it seems to be inspiring others. A Cambridge University study has shown that these acts of activism has increased interest in political involvement of African Americans and have created a level of connection between fans and players. The impact on the political country of our future has yet to be seen by these actions, but these waves of new voices will definitely make it easier for the next ones to be heard. For Scorpion News, I'm Cindy Lynn Carrera.
Thank you, Cindy Lynn, for that inspiring video. Athletes are doing a great job of using their collective voices and power to create meaningful changes. It's amazing what people can do when they come together. An example of this comes from Mr. Bernal's ACE students. This month, he introduced his class to the poetry of Amanda Gorman. They read the poem, The Hill We Climb. Inspired by her use of language and message she shared, the students collaborated together to create a crowdsourced poem. Today, 9th grade student Madison Brown shares what her group put together.
I dream of a world where people choose and live to understand each other rather than build a taller barrier than the one that already exists between us. Like others have said before me, we all bleed the same. Why does more or less pigment dictate who I'm meant to be? A world where skin color does not matter, when you can be who you want to be. I dream of a world where color does not define your ability to reach your goals. This world would celebrate the differences in society and even language rather than discriminate against them. Where people speak different languages and won't get told to go back to their country because they don't belong here. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. I dream of a world where you can hug others without fear, a world without judgment for who we are. I have a dream where people lift others up instead of bringing them down. I have a dream where the news brings a smile to my face, where you can walk through your neighborhood with no worries and with confidence. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. A world where grown men don't judge me for the way I dress. A place where women can be safe while running outside with not only one, but 2 earphones in their ears. A world where walking in the streets at night is safe. I wish that everyone, including myself, would help those who are a little less fortunate, where they don't have to kill themselves in order to put food on the table for their family. I have a dream where a kid does not have to wonder where their next meal will come from, when we don't have to be scared about the little things that should be taken care of. A world where I can speak out without being told I'm just a kid. I dream of a world where people are honest, even when it hurts a little. I have a dream where people around me smile rather than cry for people who aren't worth it. For there is always light if we are brave enough to see it, if we are brave enough to be it.
Thank you to all of Mr. Bernal's A students for creating such a powerful poem, and thank you to Amanda Gorman for inspiring us all. Her book, The Hill We Climb and Other Poems, is set to release September 21st. We can't wait to read some of her other poems. Poetry is such a powerful thing when we find that it connects to our social lives. Maya Angelou revealed beauty, Langton Hughes showed us emotions, and today Clint Smith and Amanda Gorman helped us find courage. As a tribute to poetry, Freddie created a visual video of one of his favorite poems. Enjoy!
Each day we go about our business, walking past each other, catching each other's eyes or not, about to speak or speaking. All about is noise. All about is noise and ramble, thorn and din. Each one of our ancestors on our tongues. Someone is stitching a hem, darning a hole in a uniform, patching a tire, repairing the things in need of repair. Someone is trying to make music somewhere, with a pair of wooden spoons on an oil drum, with cello, harmonica, voice. A woman and her son wait for the bus. A farmer considers the changing sky. A teacher says, take out your pencils, begin. We encounter each other in words spinny or smooth, whispered or declaimed, words to consider, reconsider. We cross dirt roads and highways that mark the will of someone, and then others who said, I need to see what's on the other side. I know there's something better down the road. We need to find a place where we are safe. We walk into that which we cannot yet see. Say it plain that many have died for this day, singing the names of the dead who brought us here, who laid the train tracks, who raised the bridges, picked the cotton and the lettuce, built brick by brick the glittering edifices they would then keep clean and work inside of. Praise the song for struggle. Praise song for the day. Praise song for every hand lettered side. They're figuring it out at kitchen tables. Some live by love, thy neighbor as thyself. Others by first do no harm, or take no more than you need. What if the mightiest word is love? Love beyond mortal, filial, national. Love that casts the widening pool of life. Love with no need to preempt grievance. In today's sharp sparkle, this winter air, anything can be made, any sentence begun. On the brink, on the brim, on the cusp. Praise the song for walking forward in that light.
Thank you, Freddie, for that video. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We encourage you all to continue learning about Black history, an ongoing part of your life. We encourage you to read books by Black authors and watch movies that document the Black experience. Maybe you can even find an organization such as NAACP and commit to helping their efforts of creating a more equitable world. Just keep learning and doing your part. We'll thank you all for watching. For Scorpion News, I'm Franklin Rodriguez. See you all next time.